I'm now going to continue my discussion of quadratic reciprocity. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to establish what a proof is and what a proof is not. The best way to do this is to show you what a proof isn't before we show you what a proof is. Okay? Now, does anybody remember the name Charles Goodyear? If any of you do not remember the name Charles Goodyear, you need to look it up, because he was the guy who invented rubber. Yes, if it hadn't been for Charles Goodyear, you wouldn't be driving on the roads as you are today. Okay? Now then, when we say a proof is not a discovery, what we actually mean is, just because Charles Goodyear discovered rubber, that's not a proof. Okay? Now, when Mr. Goodyear, Charles Goodyear, documented how he made the rubber, that also was not a proof. Now, a lot of people get this idea when they read through Euclid's Elements that everything that Euclid wrote down were proofs. Okay? That's not quite accurate. All right? People call them proofs, but that in itself is not a proof. Just because you wrote down a bunch of documentation does not make it a proof. Okay? So, what is a proof? All right? The methods that Charles Goodyear used to make rubber, that was a proof. Okay? And I'll illustrate this way. Do you remember in Euclid Book 1, Proposition number 1, when I showed you that Euclid drew two circles and then used the radii of the two circles to make an equilateral triangle? Remember that? Okay. He used that method in later proofs to make lines of equal length. Okay? The method he used to make those lines of equal length, which was, of course, drawing the two circles and drawing the equilateral triangle, that method was the proof for the next thing he was trying to prove. Okay? And that's what we're talking about in the line of proofs. Now, in my next video, I'm going to elaborate a little bit more. But that should start you with a basic idea. Now, the thing is that just because Euclid had all these proofs, he wasn't the only person that proved anything. When I teach you guys all this Euclid element stuff, what I'm trying to do is give you a starting point, not an ending point. This Mr. Gauss that we're going to be talking about, and I mispronounced his name in the last video, and I'm sorry about that, but Mr. Gauss, when we talk about him, all right, he made a lot better proofs than Euclid did. Matter of fact, there are some problems with Euclid's proofs. Not everything is a problem with Euclid's proof, but there are some problems. And that's what we're going to be dealing with as we continue on. Euclid's a great starting point for everybody, but it's never going to be an ending point. Gauss would be a better ending point than Euclid would be. And we'll show you that in future videos. Okay? So, a proof is not some discovery that you make. As in, Charles Goodyear discovered rubber. That's not a proof. And when he documented how he discovered rubber, that in itself was not a proof. It was the methods that he used to discover the rubber. That was the proof. In the same way as Euclid used the two circles and the equilateral triangle to duplicate lines in later proofs. That was the proof. Okay? Hopefully you understood all that. If you didn't, leave me a comment down here below. I will tell you more in a future video, so stay tuned.